I've been thinking about freezing my eggs. But before we go deep into that decision, come with me 20 years ago to Querétaro, a small, beautiful, mostly Catholic and very conservative city, around 2 hours north of Mexico City. I'm 8 years old, and I've decided that I am not having kids. All I've seen all my life is that having kids will slow down my career. But I want to become a doctor when I grow up. All my friends' moms do is stay home and take care of us kids. I thought that this was the norm. But one day my mom told me how she always dreamed of becoming a psychologist and helping others. But she had to give up this dream the moment that my brother and I were born. I was devastated. I couldn't stop thinking about all the people that she would have been able to help. But I was far from being alone. In our generation, millennials and Gen Zers, more than 30% grew up with a stay-home mom. The previous generation was different, as more than 60% grew up with a stay-home mom. Our grandmas were told that they had to stay home and take care of kids, no questions asked, just as their mothers have, and their mothers before them. Choice was not a word in their vocabulary. Our moms were different. For the first time in history, they were given a choice: study and have a professional career, or have a family. They could choose one or the other, but not both. And today, thanks to all the amazing technological advancements, and specifically through the science of egg freezing, we face a very different question. Can we focus now, when we are young, full of ambition and energy, on our careers, and have kids later in life? Can we truly have it all? To the men in the audience, thank you for being here. You might be wondering, does this even apply to me? Well, if you've ever thought about having kids now or in the future, or if you're a father today, this applies to you. So what is egg freezing? Most people have at least a basic understanding of what egg freezing is, but there are so many questions on our minds. What's the procedure like? Do I need to undergo anesthesia? At what age should I do it? Is it risky? Is it painful? Does it even apply to me? So many questions. But don't worry, I've got you. Egg freezing is a process in which a woman's eggs are extracted, frozen, and stored for later use, usually in the next 5 to 10 years. This is typically a minimally invasive outpatient procedure, and it requires the use of local or general anesthesia depending on the patient. Egg freezing has many different uses, from health concerns to identity choices to decisions in the timing of your career. This last one is usually referred to as social egg freezing. Now, I want you to meet my friend, Lisa. Lisa is 35 years old, and she always has dreamed of having 4 kids. Even though she wants to get pregnant now, she worries whether she will be able to have the family of her dreams or not. Women are born with a finite number of eggs, and this number decreases as women age. As published in the UCLA Journal of Women, a woman's fertility drops from 86% when we are 20 years old to 52% when we are 35, just as the case of Lisa, to only 5% when we are 45 years old. Now, this doesn't mean that women can get pregnant and carry a child as they grow older. But given that our fertility is so low, the chances of naturally getting pregnant decrease significantly. However, recent studies have shown that during the procedure of egg freezing, if you're able to retrieve 20 or more eggs, the chances of having a live birth rate increases up to 70%. And the younger that you freeze your eggs, the more likely it is you will be able to retrieve this number. Now, I want you to meet my friend, Maria. Maria just graduated from college, and she's about to enter a very competitive industry. And she wonders, how far should I go into my career before shifting my attention to having a family? Women's fertility window coincides with the most important years of career advancement and productivity. But as women decide to have their first child later in life, social egg freezing provides us with a viable solution to be able to focus on our career now, when we are young and ambitious, and be able to have a family later without having to sacrifice one or the other. Now, a caveat. Social egg freezing does not guarantee getting pregnant in the future. So don't believe those that tell you that egg freezing is an insurance policy. And there are many considerations that you need to talk with your doctor to. But to me, egg freezing is empowering. There are many benefits to women taking control of their fertility and freezing their eggs. We can draw a parallel back to the 1960s, when single women gained access to birth control pills. During the 20 years after this, the number of female lawyers, doctors, and judges multiplied between 4 times and 13 times in the US alone. Can you imagine having the number of women becoming scientists, startup founders, partners at VCs and hedge funds multiplying like this again? Egg freezing can become our generation's way of going around the biological glass ceiling and allowing us to focus on our career without having to sacrifice our fertile years and be able to have the family that we'd always wanted to. Now, lastly, I want you to meet Priscilla. Priscilla has thought about freezing her eggs for the past year, but she hasn't even started the process because of what egg freezing says about her. She grew up having a very clear idea of when and how she wanted to start a family. And egg freezing means that she wasn't able to achieve this. So if you're thinking right now, why me? Why now? I know it can be scary. But just as you wouldn't join a company without doing any research about it, or you wouldn't make any financial decision without knowing how much money you have in the bank, we need to have all the information. And whether egg freezing ends up being for you or not, or the special women in your life, information is power. So if you're anything like Lisa, Maria, or Priscilla, in your 20s to your early 30s, go and gather all the possible information. Learn about your ovarian reserve, your fertility status. Talk to your doctor. One simple and inexpensive way of doing this is through a fertility blood test. You'll be surprised at how valuable this information can be. And if you're anything like my mom, over your 50s, not thinking about anything related to motherhood, or if you're a current or prospective father, help us. Go out there and learn about all the technological advancements and alternatives that exist out there. You can change our lives. My life certainly changed the moment that I learned about all of this. And as you can imagine, my mom now is over the moon at the possibility that she might become a grandmother someday. Thank you.